Mr. Alan Bellman, everybody. Hello, sir.
My name is Alan Bellman, and I'm an alcohol. Oh, wrong meeting. Sorry about that.
Well, wait. We had you here a year ago. I don't know if you remember this exciting experience.
I remember you, Jack Buster Johnson.
Oh. And some people heard the interview. They were wondering if, in fact, maybe you were drunk while we were doing the interview.
Could we kind of go back a year? We
Sure.
lost two great guys, Nick Carty and Al Plastino. Yes. Makes okay if I just say something.
You
about
can say
that?
whatever
Sure.
you like.
Absolutely, sir.
I met Al Plastino, Nick Carty for the first time. And we lost both of these gentlemen. I had something going with Al Plastino that I look forward to this year, but it never happened. We had a little friendly feud going on. And to me, when you make a friendship in one weekend with one gentleman, a man's man, it's a great thing that can happen in one's life, but unfortunately, he left us with Nick Carty, two of the greatest people that I respect in the comic book industry. I'm sorry, sir.
No, not at all. I recall the interview we did with you guys quite well, and if you were here, I don't know, was anybody here last year to see it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
It was the most unexpected, amazing.
Yes.
Two dudes going at each other. You're like, what is going on? So entertaining and fun, man. It was a really good time.
It was impromptu, nothing planned, nothing like that. And really, when I heard the loss of Nick Carty and then Al Plastino, and within I think 30 days or so, and I just shook my head, and I really, Al. And I'm repeating, we had something going, and it was so nice, and I look forward to it. Because, well, I'm going to get all choked up, and please forgive me, but you get kind of sentimental after a certain age, But
I don't have feelings like a real human being, so it doesn't matter how
No.
old I'll get.
Yeah.
yeah, well, let
never-
me say, there's one thing about growing old that you could look forward to. You don't have to take your shoes off at the airport.
What a random rule that is, huh?
Well, I just turned 90.
And is it?
Congratulations, sir.
You treated yourself. You took a flight somewhere.
Took a flight.
I gotta say, I like your style. I hope that when I turn 90, that I have that. I mean, look at me now. I'm a mess.
Yeah, dull.
I'm a mess now.
Black and grays. Look at you. You're very patriotic today. The red, white, and blue.
You look better in person, though.
You're looking good. Than on TV?
You get that a lot. You get that a lot.
I never get that. I look good either way.
You're from my neck of woods, aren't you?
What's that?
I live in New Jersey,
You did?
Asbury Park, Ocean Township.
Oh yeah, I live about 10 miles north of there.
Yeah. In fact, my wife here is the one that introduced Bruce Springsteen on his first appearance at the Jewish Community Center.
Really?
She
Yeah,
helped
here.
put on a dance there, yeah. She was on a board, and the kids came over, and they said, we want to put a dance on. We have $200. And my wife was on the board. We want to borrow $200 more. And my wife says, well, what do you need it for? Well, we want to get this $400 band. And they can go to bed for $200, but they said, well, this band will bring them from Freehold, the Red Bank, and all that towns. And sure enough, they loaned them the kid $200. They put on a dance. I was a chaperone. I was getting kids out of the toilets, out of the... Hey,
Yeah,
you, smoking out, what can I tell you? I was always going to tell them, hey, keep it low. But I can only do that in my house with my girls on the radio, so I can... But there, I kept my cool.
There you go. So for $200, you changed, how many
He got
people's
I
lives,
know.
you know?
You changed the face of rock and roll forever.
He was
Yeah.
still playing at the Stone Pony,
Right. But I mean, instead of getting some like crap band that
Yeah.
was never heard from again, thanks to you, they got to see Springsteen.
Bruce, the boss.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Is he still the boss? Who proclaimed him the boss anyway?
Yeah.
What's that? She said, "Tell it what happened to the tape."
Oh, the what tape?
What'd you do
Well,
to the tape?
Yeah.
She put on WJLK, the voice of the Asbury Park Press. They had a radio station. So she tapes the program, fine. She then erases it.
Oh.
I didn't let her back in the house for 2 months.
Kicked her out.
No,
good,
not
good
really.
move, sir.
Little did we know. I did a story, if I may, of Mickey Spillane, was in the Army at the time. I just finished a story. I was working on staff, and I knocked on Stan Lee's door, and I was going in for another script, and there was a GI standing there with a crew-cut haircut, and Stan Lee says, Alan, I want you to meet Mickey Spillane. Mickey Spillane, I want you to meet Alan Bellman. Now, how many of you know who Mickey Spillane was? Not many, right? Mickey Spillane was a writer who wrote Mike Hammer.
It was a TV show for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, and he played in a movie of Mike Hammer. But you see, the young people, they don't know.
Too busy with
They
their
just
Twitter
don't
and their
know.
Facebook
Their
and their
smartphones and
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
Xbox Ones.
I was brought up on secondhand roller skates or something, hand-me-downs, you know.
Do you do any kind of like? Do you have a cell phone? Do you carry a cell phone around?
She carries a cell phone.
You carry his cell phone for him in case he needs it.
Me, you know, I can't be bothered with calls. She, all day long, all day long. She wore out 2 mouthpieces last year on the telephone.
So you don't do any tech. You don't use a computer.
Oh, that's not true.
computer.
He does email people. He sent me an email about 6 months ago. And
Yeah,
I didn't
wha-
reply only because I didn't think it was real.
Well, what happened was I was
He called me Jackbuster Johnson though in the email. I was
Yeah.
like, well, it
Oh,
must be him.
we'll go back. We'll get back to that, Ming. I was in. After 50, you kind of forget. Where were we in the last time? In Denver. No, not before Denver. When I got sick. Not MegaCon. Boy, what'd she come along for?
She's not going to be allowed back in the house for 2 months again.
Yeah.
Where I
Kick
got
her out
sick,
again.
where I got upper respiratory, I couldn't go to MegaCon in Kentucky,
Louisville?
Lexington. I just wanted to see if she was alert.
All right.
You're letting down all 6 people in the audience. You know.
Yeah. Sorry, you can let her back in the house now.
Well, anyway, I was supposed to go to MegaCon in Lexington. I got a upper respiratory infection and couldn't go to MegaCon. But that's that, you know, that we cured that.
Nice. You trudge on.
Yes. Now, as a man who's worked closely with the Captain America franchise, what were your thoughts on the movies?
Say that again?
The movies, the Captain America movies. You worked very closely back in the Golden Age with Cap.
Yeah.
What did you think about the movies? Winter Soldier and the
Well,
first
we
one?
were invited, Ming. We were invited to the opening of the first Avenger, and we were in California, L.A., and and walked the red, white, and blue carpet. And I got to tell you a story if I can. And I was sitting in the back of the El Capitan Theater. So the back of the end of the theater was a little higher, and I'm sitting there. I was all dressed up with a tie. And a gentleman walks over to me, and he says, I'm Chris Evans' grandfather. He says, you look important. And he caught me off guard, and I says, that's because I am important. And that's not me. He walked away. I wanted to speak to the gentleman. But I always want to write to him, to Chris Evans, and apologize to his grandfather, because I'm it was just being caught off guard and saying things that you are sorry you're saying. Ask my wife; she knows.
Does that happen to you, Ming?
Yeah.
Do you say a lot of things
So
that you
go ahead, you
often
were
regret?
asking me something?
Oh no, I just want to know what you thought of the movies.
The
As-
movie-
as someone who shaped the
Well,
character
I'll
back
tell you
in the
something, Ming. I was in the El Capitan Theater, and I didn't see the movie.
What happened?
I was seeing stars.
Fool, he just told you he was in the back row with his lovely wife. What do you do when you're in the movies in the back row with your lovely
I
wife?
prob-
You don't
no,
watch the movie.
What's the matter, kids? You bored? Oh, with green hair, I guess you
Oh
can.
God.
Well, what are you gonna do? All I know is that
Not the Homestuck panel. Sorry.
hey, you win one, you lose 10. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was in Denver, and one of the greatest events of all my attending conventions, and I attend about 10 to 12 a year. And when I walked into an interview like this, and I got a standing ovation, and that was something I never really encountered, because if I get a standing ovation, it comes afterwards, and walking in was just something that, well, what can I tell you, really touched me, you know.
So what you're saying is they all let you down, kind of.
Yeah. Don't.
Mostly you.
Yeah.
Is there anything left that you want to do? Any more like cap stuff that you would love to get out there?
Well, I'm going after here. I'm going to San Diego.
But the big one.
Yeah, celebration of 75 years of Marvel. I was there before Stan became editor. Stan was working there before, but he started actually as an office boy. But I want to tell you a story about Stan. I was working there for about 2 weeks before I saw Stan Lee. Stanley was in the Army, and he got out, and he had his Uncle Robbie. Uncle Robbie was actually his uncle, who was a brother-in-law to Martin Goodman, the publisher. And I seen Stanley walk behind Uncle Robbie, who was breaking him in as editor or something or other. And Uncle Robbie died a very young death, and after that, Stanley never walked behind anybody else, because Stanley did make Marvel Comics. He's the only one that stands out in the comic book industry that really made something stand out in comic books. Carmine tried with DC, but what can I say? So I always tip my hat to Stan.
If I'm not, I mean, I hardly know anything about comics, but wasn't Marvel was spun off from?
Timely. He worked for Time. You worked for Timely back in the day, correct?
Yes, it was called Timely Comics before. But I want to get back to this Jap Buster Johnson with
Okay,
you.
with this Jap Buster Johnson business.
You can't say Jap Buster Johnson anymore because it's very offensive.
I think you've disproven it. You've said it like 9 times
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. I think you took it back, sir.
Well, what happened, we were discussing this comic strip called,
Say
Jap
it,
Buster
man.
Johnson.
did you forget for a whole year?
I
what you
did. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I was trying to forget. Now you just brought it all back again.
We had a little bit of a nice interview at the time, and what can I say? You know, it's just, this is all a dream to me, because I never thought, I was all of 18 when I joined the staff. And I never, as Stan would say, he never thought he'd be where he'd be today, you know, and to me, being in a wonderful industry and rubbing shoulders with movie stars, this is, to me, it's something, it's a dream that that came true. It's something I visualized in my mind. I didn't dare speak to anybody of my feelings, my wishes, my desires, my dreams. And what I had dreamt has come true. And what I try to do now is give back to what was given to me. And I say this to all, you know, let's be nice to each other. We can't be everybody's friend, but let's try, you know.
All right,
Hey, speaking of being nice to each other, are you familiar with the story about Jim Steranko slapping Bob Kane Have you heard this story?
I
What
heard.
kind of idiot doesn't allow a moment for applause for such a nice sentiment
All right.
before, like,
No, I want to hear the salacious side.
I heard of that story.
Yes. What do you think about that?
He probably deserved it. No, I don't know the circumstances. I heard the story. But slapping somebody is something you can't even spit in anybody's eye because that's called an attack or assault. You want us to start the program all over again?
Yeah. Yeah.
so you're dismayed that you can't spit in people's eye anymore?
Do you think
No.
we've gone too soft as a country?
What's that?
Exactly.
You know, as a people, as a country, have we gone too soft? You're not allowed to slap anybody anymore. You can't.
No, wait. You just mentioned about our country getting soft.
Yes.
You bet your sweet bippy we're getting soft. And we're going down the drain, and I'm not getting political with you guys, but I never saw my country this way. I voted a lot of times in all my many years. Never was I scared, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I'm a registered Democrat, and right now just a independent at heart. But I just can't believe what's going on now, and I can't even watch the TV. I watch Fox News, I'll watch Wolf Blitzer on CNN, but when I turn it on, and what I hear and what I see and what's going on in this world, God save America.
Can't even bust a jap or spit in anybody's eye
I
anymore.
know.
It's considered assault. You cannot hurt or spit at anybody. If I do, excuse me.
Might be the channels you're watching. Fox News.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll show you the worst of this country. You want
What,
to see the
Fox News?
Yes, CNN.
They
all
tell
those
you.
shows.
They tell you the truth.
Nobody tells you the truth.
No.
They just anger your blood up.
I have a neighbor in my building who absolutely refuses to have Fox News on his internet. I mean, even if he wanted it, he couldn't get it. He can't stand the truth. He doesn't want to know the truth. Like I say, I'm a registered Democrat. I didn't come here to talk politics, so why are you bringing it up? No, listen, let's all pray for this country. That's all I could say.
There you go.
Well
man.
said, my friend. Mm-hmm. Well said. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Alan Bellman, everybody. Same time next year?
God willing, why not?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, Ming,
Let's
such
do
a
it.
pleasure
Thank you,
seeing you
sir.
again.
Thank you very much, sir.